Hello Zugo fans, my name's David. I thought I would do a video on my bike showing it 1 year later. I purchased the bike in August, first week of August of last year, and I received it at the end of September. I'm 61 years old and my background is quality assurance in precision machining. I've been a quality manager, quality director for many years, and I understand the machining end of manufacturing, since that is what I've been doing for most of my life. I thought I would touch a little bit on the pros and cons about my bike, since I've had it for a year, and go over some of the modifications that I have done and some of the issues I had when I purchased the bike. Up front, I'm going to let you know how much I really enjoy this bike, and this is not a paid affiliation with Zugo at all. So here's my point of view and my likes and dislikes. I want everyone to know that this is, I believe, the second generation. It has mechanical disc brakes, and I've purchased some accessories since I've owned the bike. I purchased the front headlight, I purchased the horn, and it has a stock battery on it. I also purchased the saddlebag, and I'll get into all that in a few minutes. I also purchased the side mirrors and the rear rack for the bike. The helmet is a Bontrager honeycomb helmet. Some people would complain about the helmet being a little bit too hot, not enough air ventilation. I did not have a problem with that at all. I feel that the helmet is excellent as far as cross-flow. The rear bag is made by Top Peak. It was approximately $70 to $100. I had to modify it to fit the rear rack. Basically, I took out the inside of it, used one of the supports, and zip tied it to the top of the rack with several zip ties, and then I relayed the interior portion on it so you can't see it, and it works quite well. I have all the tools, air pump, and everything else in there, and it does not have a problem with moving around through the bumps. It's been an excellent bag. The mirrors I purchased off of Amazon. They are a convex mirror, electropolished stainless, so you don't have to worry about glass. I did reinforce them at the base with a gear tight 3/16 strap, wrapped it around the mirror so it minimizes the bounce. They are fully adjustable on the mirror. You can rotate them, you can bend them. I basically have them pushed to the far side on either side, and I can see very well around me. It took a little bit to get used to them, but I do like them, especially for the price, and they've held up well. The water bottle was purchased from REI, and it works quite well. I did a modification to the holder so it does not move around, and it fits in there nice and tight. I like it. It's like canister type, like a thermal, and you can put hot or cold in there. Some of the issues I had with the bike was basically during shipment. It came FedEx, and I had scratches all over the exterior of the bike, on the frame, the fenders. The derailleur was really bent, and I talked to Zugo about setting up the derailleur. I did not have a problem with straightening the derailleur and making it work again. However, the scratches were something else. I had to deal with that on my own, and I was able to fix that, as you can see, and I'll share my findings. Before I share my findings, I wanted to add that I did put a taillight on this bike in addition to the one that it comes with on the battery. This is a daylight and nightlight taillight. It is made by Hot Rod. It was about $35. I also added some front lights in addition to the light that I purchased from Zugo. The light I use at Zugo was only a night light, and the ones I purchased for the front, I got those from Schwinn They were actually very expensive. I purchased them at Walmart for $2 a piece. They were on special, and they work just fine during the day. As you can see, my rear derailleur has been straightened and it works totally fine. Some of the issues I had after I straightened it, I had to go through a full mechanical adjustment on the cables, as well as a full mechanical adjustment on the brake cables. Somehow, when this bike was shipped, not only was it scratched and bent, the front rotor was also bent, and I had to straighten that rotor as well. But all in all, it all works, and it all works fine. What Zugo customer service did offer, they offered to have the bike completely repaired. Unfortunately, I had to get the bike into a repair shop, which wasn't so easy for me. At 65 pounds, it's not the easiest bike to lug around. Also, I was concerned about any additional damage that the repair shop would do, so I accepted the responsibility to do this myself. And now I will share it with you on how I repaired everything. I contacted Zugo to let them know that I found a touch-up paint that is an aerosol spray, which I will share later in the video, on how you can touch this bike up and get the exact finish, even with a patch. So you don't have to repaint the whole bike. You can simply patch it in by spraying it, and you'll come out with the same finish as it was when it was new. The quality of the paint is outstanding, and like I said, I've done this a year ago, and as you can see, it's held up quite well. One of the things I'd like to share is this rear foot peg. The foot peg, I replaced this factory spring with an aftermarket spring to give it nice mobility. So when it moves up and down, I don't have the issue of it flopping around and making noise. That was a very simple fix, and at 25 cents a spring, it works just fine. Something else I did is I added this fuel line tubing from a hobby shop. It's made from silicone. It's 3/16 exterior, 1/8 inch interior. I cut it so it was slightly larger, and it acts as an expansion, kind of an anti-chatter. So when you put the brakes on, it no longer chatters. Cut it a little bit bigger, slice it down the center, and just install it. Wrap it around this little relief right here that holds the assembly together, and it works just fine. I put it on front and back, and I love it. Here's a short clip of the paint that I used. It's from Krylon. It's camouflaged, non-reflective, ultra flat black. It works quite well. It has a rotating nozzle on it, so you get a nice fan spray, and you can rotate it in either direction, whichever angle you would like to spray it at. This is a nice touch to refinishing or touching up your black bike. Something else I use is double-aught, triple-aught metal finishing steel wool. You can get this at Lowe's or at Home Depot, where they sell sandpaper. What I use this for is for texturing the metal. And what I mean by that, it might be hard to show you this in the video, but basically after you spray it, in order to get it smooth, use the steel wool and rub it in the direction of the alloy. So rub it lengthwise, gently, with a little bit of soapy water, and be very, very smooth, even, long strokes when applying the steel wool. You'll get a slight scratched appearance, which will take off the lumps and all the overspray, and then hit it with a wet sponge to wipe off all the excess dirt. Once completed, I generally use a typical automotive wax. Very lightly apply the wax, something non-abrasive, just to put on, and you'll get an excellent result. Now what I'm going to show you here is this tube was partially sprayed right here. This tube up here was also partially sprayed, both the top end and the bottom end. Also, on the Zugo side panel, this was also sprayed over the top end of the Zugo. After masking Zugo off, I lightly sprayed it, and then I used the steel wool to texture it into place. The rear fender was also sprayed. This part of it, as well as the front part of it, and also this whole side was sprayed all the way down here, part of this here, and right in here was it sprayed. Everything else was fine on the bike. But bottom line, my bike has received damage, but you would never know that today. One thing I'll say about the bike is I like it very much. It does everything I want it to do, and if I had a complaint, there would be two with Zugo. One would be their shipping, to make sure the bike is received without damage. And I believe they have done so for their future shipments. I believe that they have looked into that based on the comments that I have seen on the web. My other complaint would be, and it's not really a complaint, it's just something I would like to see. I would like to be able to unlock my bike to a class 4 without having to go through a lot of hassles. I'm a very responsible person, and if I want to bring this bike up to a little bit higher speed, occasionally, I think I should be able to do so. Bottom line, would I buy this bike again after 1 year? And my answer would be absolutely. I would buy this bike again. I think the bike is a very enjoyable bike. I think it is very well built based on my background. It uses a lot of aftermarket components, which is nice. So in the event that you do need something, Zugo's not available, you can order parts for it online. I hope you enjoyed watching this video. I enjoyed making it. Have a wonderful day and stay safe.